So we're looking at this from a bird's eye view of the town of what's going on. Now let's go for micro level and let's start looking into the streets. So this is something that rarely gets talked about. So I like to talk about the ugly duckling syndrome as well when we get to a street. When we get to a street and we're purchasing a property, I want to look at the actual property itself. Now, as an investor, some investors want to purchase the nicest property in the street. They want to buy the nicest property in the street, the house that's had maybe a new paint job. It's got maybe it's a new, more of a newish property. Maybe it's had a renovation recently. It's the most expensive property in the street, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you purchase the ugliest property in the street, and your property is devalued a significant amount compared to the other properties that are beautiful, well maintained, they've been, the maintenance has been upkept on them over a long period of time, and your property is maybe 100 or 200 or maybe even a little $300,000 lesser value because it needs a bit of TLC. This is something that's your secret weapon. Now, I like to not purchase the nicest property in the street for my clients. Of course, it comes down to the individual as well, okay, and depending on their goals and what they're trying to achieve. But if you purchase your property that's ugly duckling, you'll get the opportunity to, do forced appreciation to it so you can add value to the property. So let's say the property is $200,000 less of what your house is next door that's had a significant renovation done to it. Now, let's just say you go in there and you spend $50,000. As an investor, you start forced appreciating. So you're manufacturing your equity. You're making it grow right away from the day one. You're not waiting for natural appreciation where you're just letting the property sit and just grow in value by the nature of inflation, but you're actually forcing it to grow. So it's called forced appreciation. Now, you're doing that. You got the upper hand. You can put a new bathroom in. Maybe do the kitchen up. Maybe do some floorings, paint the walls. Maybe do the fence at the front, whatever it may be. And then you can, you're manufactured your equity position. So then it allows you to release that equity to go again. So that's why I mean by being the ugliest property in the street, because you've got the upper hand now. You know what your property is worth. If you've got a property that's 2 doors down next door, or 2 doors, 3 doors down, that's worth 400 and you bought yours at 300 or 250, okay? Then that means you can potentially do the same thing. If it's on the same block and it's the same similar house where maybe they're both weatherboards or maybe they're both brick homes, both double car garage or both four bedders, whatever it may be, you then know you've done your DD, your due diligence, and you can use that ugly duckling syndrome to your advantage.